You ready for this? Never.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Reel Hunting. We're here for the good reels. You don't have to. It's your boy Brad, the Brett Man's right over there. It's time for Slash It Out Live, ladies and gents. This week, the Northman comes out, so this week thought it'd be perfect to do Robert Eggers stuff leading up to that. So we've done reviews for The Lighthouse and The Witch leading up to this week, and today we're going to do The Lighthouse versus The Witch and Slash It Out Live, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Both very good movies from one of the best directors in the business right now, Brett. Man, I know you got to be excited for this one.
Man, I am so excited, but unfortunately, our good old buddy Chris Galloway cannot make it here. Unfortunately, he got called in for duty, so but that's okay. I'm excited about this topic. To talk about freaking goats and mermaids, man. That's what I'm excited about.
Dude, ghosts, mermaids, the whole 9 yards, freaking goats. You already said that, but freaking crows and seagulls and all that fun stuff. So this is the first two movies that Robert Eggers did. He did some short films prior to this, but then his first movie was The Witch back in.
We have a tad bit of like you getting your T-Pain on, like.
Ooh, is it still sounding bad? Or are we doing okay? Or?
No, it's sounding good right now.
Okay, cool. My connection might be a little wonky. I don't know. So if that happens, just holler and take over.
It could be on my end. It could be my end too. But yeah, just let us know in the chat. If there's anybody in the chat, just let us know. Because we hate more than anything technical difficulties. So we like to get that fixed and changed immediately. So just let us know if we are sounding a-okay.
Right, you are, Ted. Absolutely. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, we're excited about this one, man. So you want to go ahead and pull up I guess we could say hey to the chat real quick. Horrorhead's here and Gory's here for sure.
Yeah, slash it out. Woohoo! I have only seen The Witch, not seen The Lighthouse, still on the watch list. Well, Heather, it is free on Amazon Prime. So on a dark, rainy day, I say you give that a go.
I think they took it off of Prime. I think like right after we watched it for the review, I think they took it off. But
are you serious?
I might be wrong. Still check it out. Yeah, I think I saw that they were taking it off like a couple days afterwards. But check it out anyway, just to be sure. Would definitely recommend it.
Amazon must have killed the seabird.
It's bad. It's bad luck to kill a seabird. But yeah, man. So obviously we're gonna be talking spoilers about both here today. If you're into that. So just be aware of that, and we're going to have a good time with it. Would definitely recommend The Lighthouse, Heather. Let us know what you think about The Witch as well. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brother Fluff, what's going on, man?
Oh, yeah, it's our pal Flamethrower, man.
Oh, yeah. And
yeah, as always.
Yeah, and just like Brad said, just what your all's thoughts about The Witch and The Lighthouse, let us know in the chat, or if you're watching after the fact, let us know in that comment section down below, because as always, we like to get that discussion rolling. So, Brad, you want that tail of the tape?
Let's do it. Yeah, whip it up.
All right, well, let me freaking do it here.
Whip it real good.
God, I need a sound effect for that. But I'm just messing. So here's our tail of the tape. And I will honestly say these are pretty close numbers almost for the most part.
Yeah, dude, they are. The Witch came out in 2016. And then 3 years later, a little bit more actually, The Lighthouse comes out. Both of them have a 90 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience is actually a 59 for The Witch and a 72 for The Lighthouse. I actually would have thought the audience score would be higher for The Witch than The Lighthouse, to be honest, because of how weird the Lighthouse gets. But you know, I know it's not for everybody. Everybody's kind of turned away by how slow it is, I guess. A lot of people are. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Budget's low. First $4 million budget for The Witch, going up to 11 million for a second flick, and you know it shows. And then you know, obviously they both made a little bit of money. But nothing too crazy. The Lighthouse made a little bit less, actually. The Witch had a lot. I remember when The Witch came out, there was a lot of word of mouth about it, man. A lot of people saying it's the scariest movie of all time and all kinds of stuff. Stephen King said it scared the shit out of him. And
Yeah, but it's like a scare. But that's the thing with elevator horror. It's not just your typical like jump scare. It's more kind of like what we call the typical like we're going to scare you by really diving into your fears and just your your comfortability. That's pretty much what it means like to be an elevator horror movie. It's not like your typical slasher or your Conjuring or your freaking like Fresh Man. Like it's not like any of those movies. Like it really like tackles dark subjects and really just tackles like challenges your comfortability. So yeah, that's and both of these movies like very well done. And it's going to be tough deciding between the two.
yeah, and a big part of what makes them so good is the performances you see here in the cast. It's actually Anya Taylor Joy Brittman,
Yeah,
and then
I
Ralph.
know I fucked it up. So
I was the same from the other. But anyway, Ralph Ineson's fantastic. Both of those actually. I think you said this was Anya Taylor's first flick. I think is correct. I don't
yes,
remember her being
that
in.
is correct. Like her first like full motion picture, like what we call big opportunity. Let's call it that way.
Yeah, and this obviously led to a lot of work for her because her performance is so strong. And Ralph is just the freaking voice of the legends, man. And of course, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are a big part of what makes the Lighthouse so great.
Oh yeah, and here let me take that down for a little bit, unless if there's something else you want to comment on.
All good, man. All good.
And for Ralph, I'm not sure if you were listening to DD Live the other night. Excuse me, Baja Blast man, Taco Bell meal does that to you.
Maha!
But anyways, our boy Ralph from The Witch, Lee actually brought up a very interesting idea to make him the next Freddy Krueger if there's a reboot.
I saw that, and that actually, like, I could see it, man. The voice is there. The voice is really good. I mean, the voice, he needs to get more work just from the voice. And he has. He's gotten some good stuff recently. So, but that would actually be really interesting.
I thought it was possibly something better, even though I don't think this particular guy's going to do it. But I even think William Dafoe can be a good Freddy Krueger.
Oh, dude, that would be crazy, dude. He would freaking
Like
haunt
he's
my
got
dreams.
the freaking facial features to actually pull that off. Like if you put the sweater over him and the bandana and like the little bandana.
He's got the freaking laugh too from Green Goblin, like, so he's got that down. He could pull it off.
Again, that's only if if the studio lets him like be Freddy Krueger. I don't want like the studio like to like, hey, you have to be exactly Robert Englund. And I'm like, no, I don't want him to be like that. I want him to be his own Freddy.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I would like a lot, man. Something new and fresh, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get to that point at some point.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a poll real quick and we'll freaking get started because we're not here to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. We're here to talk about Robert Eggers' two movies. And I'm going to ask the chat, which of them do they prefer, The Witch or The Lighthouse? And of course, we're going to put polls the next day for you all to make that official vote. And then we'll have people vote on it for 2 days. And then we will announce who the overall winner of that is. And I did look, I believe Spiral won the last matchup.
Wow, what a freaking surprise.
Like I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that was correct from what I saw.
Freaking awesome, man. So also let us know who's seeing the Northman this weekend while we're in it. And
Yes.
of course, as always, if you have any questions about these two movies, pop them in. We'll try to talk about those as we compare these two films and go from there.
Exactly. And then Brad, real quickly, again, this is like a kind of like what we call a reboot of Slash It Out for us. You could kind of already saw that with the Slap It Out edition we did with Spiral versus I Am Legend. We decided to go back to some more chilled back formula versus the debate style.
Yeah, we're just gonna have open discussion about it. Decide as a unit which one of these films wins, and from the categories that we go over, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. And as always, we're still gonna put these two movies against each other. We wanted to put the movies against each other, not us against each other. So that's what the goal is.
Exactly. And Adrian James says, I have not seen either of these movies. Well, let you know, Adrian, we are going to be talking some spoilers a little bit. So if you've not seen it, watch both of these movies, come right back to the Slash It Out, and then let's freaking get started. So Brad, what do you want to talk about first?
Okay, so there's a lot to digress here to talk about. Let's talk let's start off with something a little bit simple. Let's talk about the atmosphere of the movie. We could kind of put in the cinematography in with that too. Just the overall atmosphere that you get from this, the vibes, if you will.
God, vibes, creepy as shit. Let's go ahead and just throw that out there. Like both of these are atmospheres, makes me extremely uncomfortable. Like I don't want to go anywhere near this like their particular settings. If I do have to choose one, I will have to choose the witch setting just because like I don't trust the sea, those damn seabirds. I'd rather have my odds against the goat and then Victoria models up in the woods. So trust me, give me give me that shit all day. But seriously, both of the atmospheres really dark. But again, that's kind of like what Robert Eggers is. Like he creates that sort of style of atmosphere. Immediately just makes you uncomfortable. Like even the opening scene of both of these movies, you're like, oh man, this is going to get creepy. And I haven't really even done anything. So like I give props to Robert Eggers on just being a style of like creating a really uncomfortable atmosphere.
Absolutely, man. Both of these they're drenched in atmosphere from the beginning to the end, and obviously the witch, you really get that sense of isolation in the movie. You get it in the Lighthouse too, but the witch is like you really do feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere with this group, this family that's been outcasted from their city there, and they're out there on their own. They have they have nowhere they can go once shit starts hitting the fan. They've settled. They've got their spot. They got their house they built up there. They got their crops. The crops are failing like a mofo, though. They're not working very well for them. So that sense of isolation is really strong. I think you really have the cinematography alone in the movie goes very far with presenting this atmosphere to us. All these shots of the woods they give us, these wide shots of the woods and just kind of shots of nothing and empty spaces and things like that, just kind of really making you wonder what's out there. The scene where when the boy Jacob goes he gets seduced by the witch in the woods, man, that shit's crazy. And the fog that comes in, it's very dreamlike. And everything when he's walking through there, he's losing his gun in the vines and stuff like that, and he's just lost in the woods. You feel like you're there lost with him and you don't know where to go. So I really do appreciate that. The sound design comes into the atmosphere too. You get a lot of this sound of nature, like when they're and when they're upstairs, like early in the movie, I think Anya Taylor-Joy and Jacob, they're upstairs and they can hear their parents talking underneath in the floor underneath them, and like the way it's muffled out, just everything about it is just, it feels like you're there with them. And then the Lighthouse, on the other hand, does such a great job too. And a big part of that is the black and white and the 4:3 aspect ratio that they use with the cinematography, because that 4:3 aspect ratio, although sure, it can be annoying, it fits this movie perfectly because it gives you that claustrophobic feel, that isolation. Everything's crunched in together on the screen, just like these guys are crunched in together on the island. And I think that puts the viewers right there with our protagonist. And I love that. And again, the black and white, the foghorn playing the entire freaking movie just puts you right there with them, man.
And I wanted to get Mia's comment. What's going on, Mia? Thank you for joining us for a little bit, or for as long as you want to stay, because again, we love everybody that joins us in the chat. Mia says, I haven't seen The Lighthouse, but I did enjoy The Witch. Took 2 watches to understand the dialogue, though. Yes, and I'm glad she brought that up, because yes, if you want to watch The Witch, definitely have your subtitles on, because if you watch it without subtitles, best of luck to you.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I didn't know. I understood maybe one word out of every 24 that they said. The second time and every subsequent watch since then, I've had the subtitles on for sure. It really makes a better experience. So I would highly recommend that. I love the voices, though. I mean, I think that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Especially just again, like just how much the actors and actresses were committed to stay in that voice. It's just super damn impressive, because trust me, I know that's not damn easy.
Oh, not at all. You got to learn all these dialects and stuff and everything, and it turns out great. I really enjoy it.
Hell yeah. And then Brother Fluff says, The Witch also had a really dangerous game of peekaboo. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. We'll get
it's
into
when
that.
peekaboo goes wrong. But yeah, we'll easily go into that. Like, I would probably say we were going to talk about the most uncomfortable moment of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's right up there, and there's a lot of them, dude. Freaking Apple Boys and all kinds of stuff, man. Woo, we'll get into that.
God, even
Well,
though I would love to have like an apple stuck in my throat if I could get involved with that Victoria model in the woods.
it's worth it.
Which, if you are wondering what I'm talking about, if you watch our witch review, yeah, apparently, that young woman you see in the witch, that's the witch, is actually a random Victoria model.
Victoria's Secret model,
Yeah,
yeah, and yeah, they instead of getting an actor to come in, they got a model to come in, and it worked out really nicely, I think. And man, you can't
and
fault it.
they've
You can't fault a child.
yeah, and they figured out Victoria's Secret. It's called Baby Samuel's Blood.
That's what makes you
Nah,
fly. Oh
well,
man.
I'm a peacocky. Okay, no peacock jokes. Adrian James says, yes, I need to see these movies. I'm more sci-fi, but I want to get into the horror genre as well. Yeah, and so, hey, sci-fi is fun. Like we got some fun sci-fi horror movies, like with Alien, Tremors, Lake Placid, like a lot of those creature features. But yeah, absolutely. Like, there's so many like directions you can go with the horror genre. I would say if you're going to dip your toes into what we call the elevated side of the horror genre, definitely the two movies we're talking about today.
Yeah, and I think The Witch is a little bit more approachable from a from a standpoint, because I think it's a little bit
Hmm.
more to me, despite what the audience score says in the lineups, I think it's probably a little bit more approachable for the general audience because, dude, the Lighthouse gets weird as fuck, which we'll get into,
Oh
but it
yeah.
gets it gets really weird at times. And The Witch is while The Witch is definitely a slow burn, all about the kind of the characters and everything, and there's not a lot happening on screen that's going to scare you. It's still a very like you can understand what's going on. It's not so, I mean, it's super layered, but it's not so layered that you just you have no clue what's happening. So
Yeah, and they're not
um
trying to again, like I said earlier, they're not trying to scare you with like a bah, like
yeah,
shit like that. They're just trying to scare you with an uncomfortable atmosphere and not knowing what the hell's going on.
absolutely. So Brett,
Mhm.
man, of the two
Oh,
flicks,
sorry,
which one of
Corey
these?
Tyker, real quick. The old dialogue, Event Horizon.
You better sparkle like a whale's pecker.
Oh my gosh, that would
Finally
be in
got it
the
right.
bloopers. Yeah, there you go.
So so of these two movies, man, if you had to pick, which one has the best atmosphere, best yeah, we could kind of talk. We talked about the cinematography. Which one has the best atmosphere for you?
Okay, if we're talking about just the look of everything, I go with the witch. But if you're talking about what's the most uncomfortable atmosphere, I probably will go with the lighthouse. Just because I feel like you're more secluded, stuck inside the lighthouse and that island and all that, and you got nowhere to go. At least with the woods, you got plenty of directions to go. You got north, south, east, and west, and then you got like more chances to go away from the witch, and just from that whole atmosphere in general. Even though I love the cinematography more of it, it's just like you said with the shot of the woods, like not
Yeah.
knowing like what's in there, but you know there's something in there. But in the lighthouse, you're more secluded, and it's just that's just a scary feeling to me just because I don't want to be pertained to one certain area for too long or I'll
Yeah.
just start losing my mind.
I both of these are 10 out of 10s in this category for me.
Hmm.
I think I will give the slight edge to the Lighthouse here because like the reasons you just said, it's you have the elements, you get soaked into this isolated island. Not only are you worried about these guys going mad, but you have the elements, you got weather, you got water, you got the ocean out there being dangerous at times, busting through their thing. And it does just kind of soak you into that. Again, the cinematography decisions with the aspect ratio and the color also is important in that it really pulls you into this environment with our two leads, and you feel trapped on that island with them. I think just for that reason alone, I think I'm going to side with the Lighthouse here, but the Witch is still like just as good.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, dumbass me. Forgot to turn on my ring light. There we go. I look a little better. But yeah, I agree with you, Fo. Both of these are easily 10 out of 10. So you really can't go wrong. It's just what we call more preference. And I just have two different preferences. So if I'm going to have to choose one out of everything, I will go with the witch personally.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yes, but just isolating down the atmosphere alone, I'm gonna side over here on the
Well,
lighthouse side.
and
Um,
Destiny, what's going on? Thank you for joining us because I know in a couple of minutes she'll be on Chase Moser's channel. So we appreciate you stopping by.
yes, welcome, and check out those Scooby Doo reviews on Rotten Tomatoes when you get a freebie, because I think you'll really appreciate those.
You know what? I
Um,
just now thought of a future Slash It Out episode and the perfect guest. Scooby Doo versus Scooby Doo 2.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
so
good one.
there we go. We're officially going to add that onto our list, and we'll explain more
We
about
just made the
that.
list.
Yeah, you just make the list. We need a freaking video clip of that. But yeah, in the future, I'll see you pissed her off. Okay, you didn't piss her off, but you made her sad.
Hey, as long as you put a good review in there, that's all that matters.
Yeah, man, we had such a good time. But yeah, again, we're going to add that onto our Slash It Out list, and we'll explain more of that process, and we're going to be doing a lot better at it starting next month. But again, that we'll save that towards the end of the episode. So, Brad, what do you want to talk about next?
What did you pick? You want to pick a topic this time? I picked the last topic. Why don't you pick the topic?
Okay, well, let's keep going simple here. Which I saw from the tail of the tape, but the two actors and actresses, like for each side of things. Well, there's only one
Oh.
actress, but like, let's freaking just talk about the performances. Because like just the ones I selected to me were just the ones that hit the absolute home run of this movie and just what makes the movie work.
Yeah, for sure, man. Okay, so
Who did
who
it?
talks first?
I guess who did it better?
Dude, that's tough, because I think for both of these movies, that's one of the strongest points is the performances they bring. Again, both of these I would probably put 10 out of 10 in this category. And
I'm going to
obviously,
interrupt you. 11 out of 10.
yes, yeah, crank that son of a bitch up to 11, and then turn it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so so I think both of these are very good for the performances. Anya Taylor-Joy debuts here. Her career has taken off since being in this movie. For good reasons. You see her in this movie. She's terrifying at times. She's very like relatable at times and whatnot. There's a scene in particular when she's talking to her little sister down by the river. Whenever Jacob meets her down there. Yes. Jacob meets her down there. He's looking at her tits, and then the other sister comes in. He was doing it.
No,
And
I
then
know
the
he
other
was
sister
a horn
comes
dog. I
down.
was agreeing with you.
And then the other sister comes down here, and she's telling the little sister that she's a witch, and the whole monologue of dialogue she has there, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that whole dialogue she has there, it's scary. She's actually kind of frightening in that, and she's pulling a jest, she would say. And so I think I really like that scene. There's scenes where she calls out her father for not being able to grow
Truthful.
crops and things like. Yes, calling him out. That shit was intense. And then also the mom too at the end. All three of those sequences were fantastic. And then Ralph Ineson, man, he's the freaking legend as well, man. He does such a good job. His voice alone is amazing. But his performance all the way through, even when he's just chopping wood or coming out of the barn looking confused and all kinds of shit, like he's just strong in the movie. But man, the Lighthouse though, dude, that whole movie's about the performances,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh no, dude, exactly. I just didn't want to interrupt you there, but because we got one of our A24 fans in the chat of the Wolfman, the Mega Movie Sees. He absolutely loves anything that is A24.
Oh yeah.
Now y'all are speaking my language, and he's excited for
Yeah.
the Northman tomorrow.
Oh, I'm jacked about it, man. I'm going to see Northman on Friday, but I'm stoked just to see.
Yeah, I switched. Luckily, I did my birthday dinner. Man, I'm telling you, Taco Bell, not anymore before a live stream. So Monday I luckily had my birthday dinner then, so I got to move my movie time of the Northman a day early. So I'm going to go see the Northman tomorrow at 7:00 in the biggest screen imaginable.
That's great, dude. It's a good weekend, man. Because tomorrow I'm seeing the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage, and then Friday.
Oh, you're seeing that one tomorrow? I'm seeing that one Friday.
Yeah. Well, it's shorter. It's through the week. I just figured, whatever, we'll get that one out of the way. But yeah. Anyway, talk about these performances a little bit, man. What do you think?
Yeah. Let me talk about the witch side of things first to add on. Of course, Anya Taylor-Joy, Yes.
My bad.
I absolutely love her. I think it's just something about her. Kind of like what Mia Goth in X. Literally, she has like an X factor to her. It's just you don't know how to explain it, but you know you absolutely love her, and anything that she does, she can't do no wrong. Like I've not seen one. Like I heard that X-Men movie was pretty damn bad, but not her. She was great, I
Not
hear.
anymore.
Yeah, I heard she was great. The rest of the movie, shit. But we're not going to talk about that because I'm sure we'll might do that some way down the road. But the witch, she is absolutely spectacular. Like she sells, like you say, like her fear, her joy, her messing with her little shitling of a sister. Even though what I did love about that particular scene is the way she kind of moves her body, kind of like honestly like a witch, because like just kind of like just like I am the wicked witch, like getting closer and just like really just flowing, you know. And that's just acting. You really can't teach something like that. If of course our boy Ralph, absolutely love his voice. I love what they did with like the costume design of him. To really just sinking into like this is during the pilgrim age. So you're again, like we talked about earlier, really sets you into that atmosphere and just to that setting in general. So absolutely brilliant. And of course, the Lighthouse. I have nothing but more just. You can't do wrong with Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. They're like the top two actors in the game today. If not, they easily should be in your top five. Just they're freaking phenomenal. That movie, The Lighthouse, does not work without those two in particular.
No, everybody that I've talked to about the Lighthouse, who's seen it and they end up saying, "What the fuck was that?" and it wasn't their cup of tea, they still leave saying those performances were fantastic. I was in this movie because of these two performances by the lead. It's only two people in the movie and a mermaid, who doesn't have any lines, but they carry the whole movie themselves. That's what you're interested in is them, and they do such a good job. I actually think Willem Dafoe should have been nominated for an Oscar in this movie. He ate dirt for crying out loud. Like he's freaking like, he was feeding
Yeah,
dirt
took
to
a
him, and
big
he's
scoop.
still,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's still spilling off his line. His monologue about Neptune striking Winslow down is fantastic. And then later in the
Hawk!
movie, Hawk! What? What? That whole scene where they're just going back and forth there, that was good. They just played off each other really strong. And at the end of the movie, towards the end, Pattinson gets a nice bit of monologue talking about how Willem Dafoe smells like piss and he's got his curled foreskin and all this other stuff. Like it's really it's a good scene. But these two guys, they have so much chemistry together in the movie, and you actually buy like, oh, Ephraim Winslow is he's the up and coming Lighthouse guy, and he's getting freaking paired up with this old guy that's been doing this for so long. You actually buy those roles, and you're like, I do not want to be paired up with this Willem Dafoe guy, Thomas Wake. He does not sound like a dude you want to be matched up with for the summer. Like he's gross. He smells like piss. He freaking does weird shit in the freaking lighthouse in the middle of the night. Like he just I don't know, but they do like such a good job in this movie, especially Willem Dafoe. I think knocks it out of the freaking park, man.
And you're forgetting about those farts.
Yeah,
I am farts. Spill your beans there, Winslow.
Why'd you spill your beans?
And then, hi-ya, hey, dance, Winslow, dance like your life depends on it. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's another thing, dude. Those freaking those dancing scenes and those drunk scenes in the movie, like they seem like they're shit-faced.
Yeah, and that's just pure acting. Yeah, they might have had a drink or two, but they weren't what we call fucked up. They actually acted all that, and it's just freaking amazing. Because like again, like if you told me like, oh yeah, they were drunk or high as shit, I'm like, well, I don't blame you for that. Oh, by the way, they're not. What? But no, seriously, fo, like, but all the acting in both of these movies is just absolutely spectacular, and there's not one fault.
I agree. Again, both of these are 10 out of 10 in this category. I think it's
11
going to be
out
tough
of
to
10s.
pick. 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10. Man, so I guess I can go first this time. If I had to pick one to lean towards, oh my gosh.
I
That's
know
tough, man.
it's impossible.
I think, I mean, I think I would go with the Lighthouse here as well. Again, they're both 11 out of 10. slight nod for me goes for the Lighthouse crew, just because of their performances are so important to this movie, and they're able to play it off. They don't really have a lot of other stuff going on outside of these two interacting with each other. Whereas the witch, you have other elements going on in the movie and other things to kind of pass the time along. So I think I'm going to give the slight nod to the Lighthouse in this category as well.
No, I'm actually going to agree with you with that with the Lighthouse, but just the tiniest of hair. Because again, at 11 out of 10s, just I feel like the only reason the Lighthouse gets that little advantage, you got those two all-star actors, while Anya
Yeah.
Taylor-Joy was just that one singular one. Again, Ralph is great, but he ain't what we call on the level of William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, or even Anya Taylor-Joy. So I feel like that's the only reason why the witch gets held back just a hair on that. So I'm going with the Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think if you just took the averages of everybody in the movie, Lighthouse would win, because there's nowhere for it to go. I mean, but even though the witch in general, I mean, you got Caleb was great, the mom was great too. Everybody was contributed to this, but
even
I
that
mean, if I had to
Victoria's
pick,
Secret model was great.
yes, if I had to pick like between the characters, which characters I like more, I'd probably go with the witch. But just from a character standpoint, but yeah, man, hell yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and to go back earlier where you were talking about like Anya Taylor-Joy, Thomason is her name.
Yes.
With her talking about like how she's getting mad at her dad about like the crops not growing. I actually have a little theory about that I just thought of. What if the
Yes.
failure of the crops growing is because of the witch? Like
It
the
is.
witch, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like having the influence on that, like, and that's just again just freaking great, amazing storytelling.
Yeah, they're cursed. That's a part of what makes it so scary is I guess let's just get into the scary part of it. Which one's scarier, right? And I think this one's will be a little bit easier, but
Real quick, sorry, I want to get to his town because I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
hearing some about this movie. Have y'all ever seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet? It's the newest A24 movie that just came out. Saw it finally last night, and that's one of the best movies I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years. Definitely my favorite of the year. Ooh.
I've heard great things. I have not
Yeah.
seen it yet, though. I saw the trailer at one of the movies I went to.
Yeah, and it looked A24-ish, I'll tell you that for sure.
It looks fun though. I just definitely one I want to see. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters or not. It might be I have to wait until it comes out, just because there's so many other things coming out right now. So
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
if I'll get
like
a chance.
we're gonna have a busy end of April, and then May it'll be a big month too. Gory
Yeesh.
Tiger, see massive talent. Hey, you got it. I'll see it Friday, and Brad will see it Thursday.
Got that right, dude. We'll be checking her out for sure.
Absolutely. So let's go back to that scary topic. If you do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll just elaborate on what you're saying, and then I'll pass it back off.
Alrighty.
The crops thing, yeah. Going into the witch. That's one of the things that makes it so scary is the subtlety of the curse that they're going through, and a part of that is the crops not working. A part of it's the goats giving blood in their milk, and the eggs having freaking baby chickens in there, and all kinds of like everything they're going through. They're going through this curse. They're cursed essentially by this witch, and that I mean those things are just you could never that's all just in your mind. Like that's all theater of the mind stuff that you could never present on screen in a tangible way. So to me, I think those little nuances like that just are terrifying, man. Just to be under that much of a hold of this witch that you can't even grow crops or grow corn or anything, and you're doomed essentially. So I'll pass it back off after getting that started. But yeah.
Freaking using Dave McRae on there for me with the theater of the mind antics.
It is. That's what it is, man. It's
it
all up
really
in there,
is.
man.
No, exactly. And I'm going to actually just, that's a nice segue with all up in here, because that's pretty much what the Lighthouse is, where they're trying to get your theater. It's just the mind of these characters, of what they're going through. Like, because we kind of talked about it in our review a little bit. You think Robert Pattinson's character is the one that's crazy and just seeing things and everything, which he obviously does. But we can also see Thomas Wake of William Dafoe's character. He could be crazy too. because again, he's always up there in the lighthouse and all that, something with tentacles, like crazy shit. But no, that's
Yeah.
honestly almost just as more scary as like a witch in the woods, just cursing your land, cursing your crops, even cursing your daughter, or just slowly. I would call recruiting your daughter. So
Yeah.
but like, yeah, both of these movies are just scary in their own unique way. Um, when we call like what's scariest moments of the movies, I would say the Lighthouse, the scariest moment, and to me, it's the end where Robert Pattinson is getting freaking annihilated by those damn seagulls or seagulls and seagulls. Just that freaking like creeps
Bagels.
me out. Yeah, and even what he does with the mermaid statue, but we're not going to talk about that. We're
Oh,
trying
we
to
don't
keep
need
this a
to.
PG show. Um, and then with the witch, what's the scariest thing? Honestly, for me, I know a lot of people's scariest thing is when the baby gets snatched up. But for me, it's when Caleb, after he spits out that apple, and then he is just speaking all these what we call weird words and all of that. Even though I learned after the second viewing that was the witch speaking through Caleb. That's what that was. And just to me seeing that, and just like again, the mom, the dad, Anya Taylor Joy's character, like not knowing what the hell is going on, they can't explain it, and that is what's very damn scary. Is something you cannot explain. So those to me are the scariest things. I will probably lean toward the witch being the most scary.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and we
yeah,
got
just kind
somebody
of
from Brazil. What's going on, Gene? And welcome to the channel.
welcome, Gene. Welcome to the party.
And then I'm
We
not
got
sure
Chris
who this
G in the
prick
house too.
is.
That's some asshole. It's probably a troll.
It's Shark Vagina. San
It is,
Diego.
man. But yeah, man, that's one thing the Lighthouse does. What you're just talking about is it plays in that mental capacity, right? That's the fears
Mhm.
that it's going after. It's like the movie's so ambiguous. You don't know if it's you don't know what's going on. You really don't know. You're really just at the the liberty of your moderator there, and Thomas Ephraim, whatever his name is. And you don't know if this is all something in his head and he actually is knee deep in the snow in Alaska and this whole thing is just something he's making up in his mind, or if he's actually out there and shit's actually going bad. They're missing their boats and the weather's coming in and taking their island away essentially. um you just don't know. You don't know if he's going crazy and losing his mind and he's actually just freaking murked your boy Willem Dafoe for no reason because he's just losing his mind, or you don't know if Willem Dafoe's going crazy and he's chasing him with an axe. Like all that stuff is so great and it's scary to think about.
Mhm.
I think, and again, that scene when the baby gets snatched up in the witch is very scary because again, it pans into that atmosphere. The baby gets snatched. The shot there was fantastic when she opens her eyes, the baby's gone, and it pans over into the woods, and you just see Thomason running into the woods after the baby. I
Mhm.
thought that was really good. It's a really kind of a slow shot, wide angle of the woods, and you just see her kind of run in. No, that was terrifying. I think my scariest moment of the witch, though, and then obviously what comes after that, the witch is chopping up the baby and doing putting
The
the
ritual,
innards,
yeah.
yeah, on her stick to fly. And that was kind of crazy. That was disturbing. But I think the scariest moment for me is when Jacob goes to the barn in the back, and Jason's not in there, but the witch is, and he gets seduced by the Victoria's Secret model. And
Mhm.
no, you know what? That's second. I would agree with you. The Apple thing's scarier, but this leading up to it's really good too. And then Lighthouse, I would say, is probably the scariest moment for me. Would be, I don't know what it would be, honestly.
The
There's
freaking
nothing
supply
really that.
closet with the mermaid.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously not good. It's not good. I don't know. That second when he smashes that goal around and there's blood everywhere and the wind picks up immediately, I thought that was
Mhm.
kind of a nice moment. Not nice in the sense of smashing goals, but just nice in a sense of kind of being scary, like he just fucked up. Uh, I like that sequence a lot. But
Yeah,
I
and
think the witch is scarier easily.
yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And Chris saying, "Yeah, them old witch titties did something to my guts as well." Oh my god. Uh,
I bet.
Chris, you freaking just behave yourself. And I actually found this interesting because I was like, what could make the lighthouse better? This is a good idea. Fun fact: Anya Taylor-Joy was wanting to be the mermaid in the lighthouse, but Robert Eggers felt very protective of her, like an older brother, and basically said, "Not this time." I respect that, but I think that would have been absolutely brilliant.
Well, yeah, that's actually I saw that the other day, Michael. I saw that the other day. So after doing the witch, he actually and writing the lighthouse, he called up on a Taylor Joy. He said, "Hey, I'm doing this other movie. It's the lighthouse. I don't have a role for you, unfortunately. It's two dudes. There's one girl, but she's a mermaid, and she's like, oh, I like to be a mermaid. And you're like, no, you don't want to be this mermaid. So yeah, that's kind of how that went. But yeah, I mean, I think those two are going to be making movies together for a while, and I'm stoked about it.
Oh yeah, especially with the Northman.
Yes.
Yeah, God, I can't
yeah,
wait to see what she does.
Going back, I didn't mention this in our review. I forgot. This is something I read, or it was in the commentary or something. But the scene in The Witch when I think there's a couple different scenes actually. One of them being where Caleb is walking up to the hut and the witch is out there waiting for him. That Robert Eggers said is a reoccurring dream he's had, kind of getting lured into this witch's hut. And there's another scene in the movie when, well, I'm like, that's creepy as fuck, man.
Mhm.
That's not a dream you want to have. And the other one was when the witch was, I think it was eating a goat or something in the barn at the end. Like you can only see the back, and like the kids are kind of approaching her, and then she turns around and she's naked. She's got the them flappy ass titties. Was it that Ronnie says? Something like that. Anyway,
Oh,
she turns around and you see the face. He said that was another dream of his, but she never turns around in the dream. I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of the same. Wes Craven had same kind of inspiration for Freddy Krueger from his dreams. So I thought that was kind of cool.
dude, hell yeah! Because that is something like kind of like Hansel Gretel shit right there, but just on
It
a
looks like
darker
it.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though like when the witch first took baby Samuel the first time, and we just saw the red cloak and all that, I could either say like, is that Krampus or is that the what's that one? Oh, the village when they revealed those people at the end, like the beast.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh! But no, both of these movies
Krampus would have been
absolutely
better.
scary. But
I agree. Yeah, I give the edge to the witch for this one, for this category for sure.
oh yeah, same here for me. I'm trying to figure out what else we can talk about because again, we can go many different directions here. Again, Robert
Mm.
Eggers directed and wrote both of the. You say he wrote both of these movies? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, these are
God,
his babies.
I guess it's just like what's crazy to me is that he wrote this, and what right person would think of such a movie, such a movie as these? Like, do you know like what kind of place you have to go in your mind on that? So I guess like, what's the better story and better writing? What do you think?
Okay.
Which job Robert Eggers did?
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. So I think both of these movies are very strongly written. From just a dialogue standpoint with these ancient dialects, the Old English and whatever they're called. I don't know. Um,
Folklore or I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Folklore.
know.
Yeah. They're both written very well with this. A lot of research went into both of these scripts, and it shows like everything you see on here is consistent with the times, and things that are not consistent with the times. Robert Eggers knows that, and he made a conscious decision to not make it consistent just because they had to for the sake of making a movie. Like more lighting would be needed in certain scenes than what they would have actually had or whatever. He made those adjustments. So I think that's really cool, and I really appreciate how much work he put into both of these scripts, and learning as much as he did of these time frames and these tales. So, if I'm not wrong, The Witch is based on folk tales and whatnot of the time frame, horror
Yeah,
stories, I
and
guess, of
based
the
off
time.
diaries they found too.
Yeah, folklore diaries, things like that. The Lighthouse is based off of the story of two men going out to watch a lighthouse for a time frame, and then when the boat comes to pick them back up, they're both dead, and he's just elaborating on what the fuck happened there.
Yeah, and
So they both have
sea legends too.
sea legends, yeah,
Yeah.
like the mermaid, for sure. both of them have, some source material, you could say, but I think what he did to bring these stories life is amazing. Um, I think in general, I think The Lighthouse is a very good story, and I think it's groundbreaking for how ambiguous it is in the writing. Like, like I said earlier, like we don't, as the viewers, know what's actually going on. Our guess, like, if we were to be the people in the boat arriving to pick these guys up and they're both dead and the guy's getting eaten by a crow over here and the other guy is fucking buried or where like chopped up with an axe, we don't know what the fuck happened. And us as viewers watching through this lens that we have, we still don't know what happened. Like being there the whole time with these guys, because it just goes so far off the rails. You know that it's not exactly what you're seeing on the screen. So you kind of got to play with your mind and wonder yourself what actually happened with these two men on this island, if they were even there at all, if it's not a figment of someone's imagination. So I think that's really good. The witch, again, I talked earlier about the isolation that we get here from these characters, and I really love the character dynamic, the family we have here, and their struggles, and they're trying to survive. And meanwhile, they got this curse, but they really just want to go get some apples. And there's rabbits out there, and he's selling his cup to make some money, and so he can give them a better life. But she doesn't know. Like all that stuff's great. And both of these movies are so layered. There's so much symbolism in both of them that you could pick them apart, but you're never going to get all the symbolism out of it. Like you're never going to know exactly what Eggers was thinking because he's not going to tell you. I think that's brilliant. I think just in layman's terms, short and simple, I prefer the story of the witch more. I think it's a little bit more structured. It's a little bit more easy to follow. It's still layered, just as layered as you would want, but you can understand what's going on. And I prefer that a little bit over The Lighthouse, who gets a little bit weird for me at times.
Pass. Because I can't top what you just said. Like you were just spot on with everything. I prefer the witch's story more, and I know we keep on going with the witch, but guys, you have to possibly imagine for us how freaking close it is making these decisions. And again, that's just props to how great these two movies are. And I know another big fan of Robert Eggers is our boy Matt Facci. He loves some freaking A24 madness. Oh man, the witch! I love naked flying in the sky. Hell yeah! God, what's going on, Matt Facci? I'll see you behave yourself until 9:15, where I can keep a better eye on you. While we watch Brad's, which we're going to be watching one of Brad's favorite Nicolas Cage movies of Willy's Wonderland.
Ooh, nice. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but yeah,
I know. And then Gene, let's get his comment. What do you think about the box office for The Northman? I haven't really seen any numbers yet. I kind of like hesitant to look because again, I kind of want to go in not like hearing anything. I'm hearing like a little bit good things. Last Rotten Tomatoes score I saw was an 89 by the tomato meter, and that's a damn good score for it. And the other thing I know about it is a $90 million budget, which Brad brought up that interesting fact. Let me get that tail to tape back up real quick. Combining both of these movies, $15 million. And we're going to go from 15 million to 90 million. So that easily tells you how the studio has high hopes for Roger Eggers' directing style in the future.
Yeah, this is a big, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a risk because the director you've hired here is one of the best, like literally, you can't go wrong with him. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I hope it can make the 90 million. I hope it can make 200 million. I hope so. And I'm going to hope for the word of mouth has been good. The reviews are good. Everybody, I think there's a general sense of excitement about this movie. A lot of people I know are excited to see it. So I think it's going to do solid at the box office. I'm hoping it makes a good amount of money. So, we can do more stuff like this. I don't know if Robert Eggers himself would be interested in doing another big budget film anytime soon, because he said he's kind of like wanting to go back to the smaller budget feel, because that's kind of, that he feels more freedom there and can do whatever he wants. But in general, I like seeing these talented directors get these opportunities that have come from a small budget background. And so I'm hoping to see maybe a $200 million turnaround at least, hopefully more. And that's being optimistic. I just feel like I don't know. It's almost, I don't know. I just feel like, Midsommar was kind of a bigger budget for Ari Aster, and I don't feel like that did great at the box office. Like people liked it, but I don't feel like it blew away Stacks or anything. I think this is going to be a little bit more mainstream than that, though. So I think it's going to do better than Midsommar. But
Yeah.
let's say 200 million.
Yeah, and like with the Midsommar one, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. Yeah, that was a big budget, but yeah, I kind of agree with you. Just Ari Aster style. You don't need a big budget like that, and plus you're making a big risk of giving the director that much money. Yeah, the director's going to do a great job, but with the story they like to tell, yeah, you gotta worry about making all that money back. And kind of like with a movie with Midsommar, that's a big risk. But I do see with the Northman, like bring in Vikings and action and all that. I'm hoping for $200 million as well.
At least I think it can. If the general excitement about the movie is as much as it's been around the people that I know, then I think it's going to be fine. I think it should be well over 200 million. But I still have my reservations. I'm definitely going to be there, without a doubt. I think now it has had comparisons to Gladiator and Braveheart and things like that. So I think that's going to do it some solids. I think people are going to get interested and they're going to go check it out. So I'm going to hope for 200 million minimum, but hopefully it's well above that. I don't think that you're going to see $1 billion or anything like that, but I think maybe it's got a ceiling of maybe 500 million somewhere in there.
Yeah, and he's also says I'm tired of Marvel movies. I'm almost there with the Marvel part of it, but Doctor Strange I'm super damn excited about. So I'm not quite done yet. Of course, anything Spider-Man, I'm gonna watch it, but as I'm watching
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man
keeping it all together.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I'm pissed off about the 4K release they did, but with lacking the deleted scenes. But that again, never topic, never time. But yeah, for the Northman, I would say for me at least, just to play on safe, I would say 150 million, just for me. But I'm like you, I'm hoping for the 200 mil, because I feel like it really has a shot to make it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think safely between 200 and 300 is a pretty good bet. I think, and that's hopefully if it does that, then I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Happy boy.
Oh man, but is there anything else that you could think to talk about or to mention about the Lighthouse or the Witch?
No, I think I think we hit most of the elements here for the most part. I think they're both strong, very strong movies. The soundtrack in both of them is fantastic. We didn't really talk about it, like the score. Mark Corvin is the composer of the movies. Both of them have strong. I couldn't really pick one over the other. I think they're both they do enough to add to the movie, but yeah, it's not something you're gonna be. It's not instantly recognizable or anything like that. Like, it adds to the atmosphere, it builds that foghorn is freaking creepy as fuck. But but man, I think overall, yeah, I think both of the scores are good. They're really good.
Scores are good. Probably give a slight nod to the Lighthouse, all because like you already just stated the foghorn. Yeah, like that's the only reason like it gets the slight advantage. It's just because that foghorn not only just makes you crazy, like if it thinks it made those characters crazy, it made us crazy too, just by hearing that sound repeatedly throughout the movie. It's just trying to play with our heads as well.
And you get used to it after a while.
You really do. Like, you're like, just, fuck it.
I will say just a couple, not a direct comparison to The Witch because they're not really like in this category, but the one thing that the Lighthouse does really well is this comedic at times. It's something that's a little bit lighter than The Witch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more fun to watch, and it's got the and that comes back to the two leads in there just doing their thing. But there's fart jokes, there's
drunk dancing.
They're drinking gasoline for drink, and all kinds of little bits like jest. All kinds of little bits like that throughout the movie. And the mermaid. There's one other thing that was pretty. Oh, when Winslow falls off the lighthouse, you've never been in better hands, my friend. Yeah, I know you're not fond of me lobster, or you are fond of it. Rather.
Are you not fond of me lobster? Oh my gosh, I laugh I've been freaking quoting that ever since we started that series, or this series in particular.
I saw you sparring with the girl. Yeah, man, all that stuff's fantastic. So that's one thing that I think the Lighthouse does well. Is kind of, I mean, the Witch didn't need it. I'm glad it didn't put comedic stuff in there.
Mhm.
But for the Lighthouse, it adds a lot to it, I think, and I'm appreciative of it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up too, because something you need in kind of like horror movies in general is you kind of need a break, like kind of like a tension break, like just like get tense and scary. I mean, you kind of need a breath just to relax a little bit. And The Conjuring is really probably the best movie I've ever seen that controls that aspect in general. The Lighthouse did a really good job with it too. But I will agree that The Witch is the one movie that does not need it.
No,
I
yeah,
do agree with that statement. And Hereditary is kind of like that a little bit too. Like that's another movie you could kind of pass on the whole you don't need a break from tension or from the scary atmosphere on that one as well.
yeah. I can't wait to watch that one again, man. That's gonna be
Oh man,
fun.
we'll have that versus Midsommar in the future.
Definitely, 100%.
Because Ari Aster's coming out with that new movie next year with Joaquin Phoenix.
Disappointment Boulevard. Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Is it this year or next year? Will it get pushed back?
Ah,
I
I
thought
can't
it was this
remember.
year.
We'll keep our eyes on it. If it does this year, Slash It Out's coming,
I
or
think
like
we
a
might even have
review
to.
series is coming.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah! So pretty much that's it for me. Do you just want to go with overall thoughts with both of these movies, and then I'll check the poll?
Let's do it.
All right. Overall movie thoughts. I'll let me go with The Lighthouse first. And The Lighthouse, spectacular acting by Pattinson and Defoe. You can't ask for any better performances than that, because again, they had to carry the film on their back like legit, and they just knocked it out of the park. It's so much fun, but again, I think Brad like kind of dove into this a little bit. It gets weird at times, like too weird for me personally. And there's some people out there that really love the weirdness, and you know what? Awesome. Just not for me. That's why, again, in our review, I believe I gave it a 4.75 out of 5 or a 4.5. It's just Yippee Ki Yay on that part. And then The Witch, after my third viewing, it gets the golden reel, 5 out of 5. Absolutely, it deserves it. Anya Taylor Joy, one of the best movie debut acting jobs from an actress I've seen in such a long time. It's just the story's great, the atmosphere is great, just pretty much everything is great. I can't think of one single fault about that movie. That's why it gets the golden reel.
I agree, man, with pretty much everything you just said, man. I like the Lighthouse is a movie that I think is perfect on an October day. You pop it in, nice and cold outside, maybe raining. You just want to be
Mm-hmm.
sitting here and jump on this adventure with our two boys, and be stuck on this lighthouse island with them. I think it's great. I do think The Witch is one of those movies that just gets better every time you watch it, though. And it's just one of those that, like, every single time you pop it in, you pick up new things about it. Like, you really appreciate it more and more every time you watch it. So for that reason, and like I said, or like you said, rather, the Lighthouse gets a little funky at times. Pattinson's jerking off in the closet. Like, there's squid jizz getting all over the place. Like, it gets really weird.
Freaking
Which is
doing
fine.
Austin Powers with the freaking chest piece touching the nipple part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So all that stuff's good and it's fun, but like I just like I like dark movies, man, and The Witch is as dark as it gets, and it stays that tone throughout. And for that reason, I got to go with The Witch. It's just one of those. It's super terrifying, and it always gets better for me.
absolutely. And you gave it a golden reel as well, and that's like the second or third time on our channel history where all three of us have given a movie a golden reel. So
Yes,
that
that's
is
right.
how high we think of The Witch. So it's like The Witch, Casino Royale, and I believe, didn't we say No Time to Die was also a three-way golden reel?
No. Chris ruined it.
Oh yeah, this fucker
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Nothing fun, nothing funky about a closet yanks. Oh my god. God,
Yes, there
Chris,
is, Chris. You can't
of
film
all the
yourself
ones
doing
to
it.
be on a call for, you picked this episode.
You got to do it in the you got if you could do it in the closet, you can't bring like you can't do it while you're being filmed though. Like that's fine, but the closet,
Mhm.
yeah, you got to keep that shit in secret.
Coming out of the
Yeah, but I
console.
mean, like on another day, like sometimes the Lighthouse is a 5 out of 5 for me. The first time I watched it was a 5 out of 5. I think I dropped it to 4.75 just for those reasons. A couple little things, like it's very minuscule nitpicks kind of deal. Like I very well easily could be a 5 out of 5 at some point again. I love both of these movies, but The Witch does have that slight edge.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And Jinx has The Witch for me too. Yeah, The Witch is just to me. I know there's the argument of like the Babadook, kind of like reamped the elevated horror genre, but I honestly believe The Witch was the one that kicked the damn door down. Like brought that term really back to life. Hell, even Tara Carpenter from Scream 5 even mentioned. I'm pretty sure she mentioned The Witch first.
I think she
When
did, or maybe it's the Babadook. Maybe I don't know.
it could have been
The
the
Babadook.
Babadook because that's her favorite personally, which I still need to see the Babadook myself.
Fuck
But
yeah,
yeah,
we need to put that on the list.
yeah, it just made the list. Chris,
This just made the
saying
list.
a three-way golden reel for the witch, fatality here, flawless victory. Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, we need to have a meeting soon because we have thought of like 5 freaking clips we need to add when we say certain things, kind of like Rat with Ronnie. Flawless victory needs to be one.
Yes, it does, man. I agree. We got to get
Hell
those
yeah.
up in there, man. I like it. Flawless victory. Soundboard, but with
Flawless.
videos.
Yeah, because Brad doesn't want any of this freaking Sub-Zero over here. Tap that A. A.
Put
Flawless
that
victory.
frozen ass sword back in your pocket. I like
It's an icicle.
whatever it was. Fuck it.
Oh man, but no, that's pretty much all I had. Do you want again anything else right before we just tell everybody what's coming up and the future of Slash It Out?
I think we're good.
All right, I'll let you explain the future of Slash It Out, and I'll explain what's coming up for the rest of April.
Okay, so Slash It Out. Our next episode we've already selected. We discussed this a while ago, a couple weeks ago on our last Slash It Out. We wanted to get high tension in here so our Brettman friend here would watch the damn thing. And he did. He watched it. We'll get his thoughts out there when we do the episode. But it's going to be High Tension versus Identity, which is a very good, matchup. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Identity is first time watch for me too. I thought it was really awesome. So Brett, it's going to see it soon, and we're going to compare thoughts on it next whenever we do the episode. So we got that, but then after that, what we've done is we've compiled a big ass list of matchups, some that you guys have provided, some that we provided, and a good mix and match.
Sorry, I did the list today. It is over 100 matchups we thought of. So
and they'll keep coming. Yeah, and they'll keep coming as more movies comes out. So it's awesome. So what we do, we each picked 5 of those off the list, and we're putting those into a spin wheel. Every week we're going to spin the damn wheel, and that's going to determine the next week's episode of Slash It Out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We each picked 5 really cool, different matchups. We all have different shit in there. And then as we start going through those, we'll put new ones in, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I think again, we'll get some of your suggestions in there too. And I'm really excited about it, man.
Yeah, please let us know if you all have any suggestions, because if it's one we have not thought of, I've been writing down the matchup and who thought of the idea, so you will get a channel's shout out if you come up with a unique matchup for us to put on our list. Because I'll even throw an example out there. Destiny thought of Ginger Snaps versus Jennifer's Body. That is a very interesting matchup that I would love to see Brad do in the future, just so we could get him to see Jennifer's Body again. But Gory Tiger even says, you haven't seen High Tension? I have now, after my first watch of it, but I'm going to save my thoughts for when we do the episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun episode too. I'm going to check out that. I'm going to watch that again this weekend.
Oh, and of course, we're going to be doing feature episodes fully nude, and Brett will be the only one referred to as "but fuck you."
Butt boy.
Oh my god!
Okay.
But
All right.
what's coming up on Good Real Hunting? After I get off here at 9:15, I will be over on Matt Fauci's channel for Fauci Cinema. That's what the channel is called. We'll be watching Willy's Wonderland, since this is kind of almost really Nick Cage week as well, with his new movie coming out. So might as well throw on a fun Nick Cage flick in the horror genre. We talked about Wicker Man, but we're like, no, not the bees. So we're going with Willy's Wonderland. And then over the weekend, we'll do the Northman. Brad, are we going to be doing a spoiler review or a spoiler free?
We'll probably do a spoiler-free review for the Northman, and then the ranking too.
Okay, and then of course the ranking as well. So we'll do a spoiler free. If it really gets like high, like what we call attention to it, we might even just do a live discussion of it with all the spoilers. Again, we're just going to keep an eye on things, but definitely a spoiler free review is going to be coming over the weekend along with the Robert Eggers ranking. And then this Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern, me and Destiny will be doing Back from the Dead, the April episode of it. And it's also going to be 1 year of the show Back from the Dead, too. I just remembered that today. So we'll celebrate that year with the show on that. And then at 5 o'clock Eastern time, that same day, we're going to be doing Flicks with the Fellas, which that's the name of our watch along series. And we're going to be watching Titan. I heard it was a clusterfuck of a movie, but I'm freaking excited to experience it.
That's going to be a lot of fun, dude. It's going to be Brett's first time watching that. If you guys haven't watched it, grab you a 6-pack, join us Friday at 5, because it's a freaking wild ride.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
be drinking a claw. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, dude. If you think the Lighthouse is weird, wait till you get a load of this. It's gonna be crazy.
So that's coming up. But then the last slash it out of the month is going to be Brad already mentioned it. High Tension versus Identity, and then excuse me, gosh, I might talk about. I'm telling you. And then when it comes to May, we'll be working our new slash it out method with the wheel and everything. We got future nice idea with the future of Flicks with the Fellas, so stay tuned for that. Brad came up with a very brilliant idea on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And let me get Gory Tiger's comment, and then we'll get out of here. Gory Tiger says you should do a battle of the Carpenter movies. Oh, buddy.
Good idea.
Yeah. First off, great idea. And second, I put one on the list already for a Carpenter movie. So, but I'll think about the other ones too. So, thank you for that suggestion. If you got a particular one, let us know in the comment section, or you can message us or Facebook group, Instagram, all those groups. We're easy to contact. Just let us know any suggestions you all have.
Yes.
And then yeah, lastly, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. And of course, ring that bell, ding, 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 so you all know when the next set of videos and live specials are up and ready. Brad, where can they find us? I already almost steal your catchphrase.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Those links are down below for you to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll probably just let you all know too. Spotify and Apple Podcasts might be taking a short hiatus until we can figure out a better way, a better use of it.
Yes.
But we'll keep you updated on that. But other than that, I'm got nothing else. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, we will.
All right, let's see you guys.